experience the commonality of pain and suffering in humanity, a universal truth. Universality of pain and suffering in human life. It suggests that everyone experiences some form of pain, whether it be physical or emotional, and that there is no one who is immune to the effects of sorrow and suffering. It also mentions that people often seek ways to escape or mitigate this pain and suffering, which can be seen in the various coping mechanisms and distractions that people use to try to find happiness. The quote emphasizes that pain, unhappiness, and suffering are an inescapable part of the human experience, and that people often look for ways to avoid or escape it. Moral and philosophical lessons that can be learned from acts of evil and atrocities. Some possible lessons include the importance of empathy, the dangers of dehumanization, and the need for compassion and understanding. It is also important to consider how systemic issues, such as racism and prejudice, can contribute to the perpetration of evil acts. Additionally, understanding the psychology of perpetrators and how they can rationalize their actions is crucial for preventing similar atrocities in the future. The great destroyers, disease and death, are also mentioned as a source of pain and suffering. They often come unexpectedly, and can cause heartbreak and tragedy. It is important to note that the quote also points out that pain and suffering can be caused by systemic issues, such as poverty and social injustice. The quote ultimately highlights that the human experience is not always easy, but that we all have to cope with it in one way or another. It's important to understand that pain, sorrow, and suffering are an inevitable part of life. But also that there is always hope and that we can find ways to cope and find meaning in them. It's also important to recognize that some pain and suffering can be mitigated or prevented by addressing systemic issues and working towards creating a more just society.